go! Go after it. Try those legs, but don't even off the end as you can go. We're at the Delta Sports Dome here in Limerick, and what we're utilising is the altitude chamber here, and this gives us a little sample of what we're hoping to experience when we get to Loftus playing the Bulls in the coming weeks on our trip down to South Africa. So this is an altitude chamber, and basically we're depleting the oxygen that's available in here from the guys. So we're used to this kind of like sea level oxygen here in Limerick and in Munster, and what we're doing is we're dropping the oxygen level inside this room. It's a confined room area, and we're making the lads exercise on the bikes to give them that feeling of limited oxygen that's available at altitude. So when we train in here, we're simulating and replicating the type of stress that we will encounter when we play the Bulls down in South Africa. We would have started off here today, we would have been at about 3,000 feet when they entered into the room, and over the course of the session, which lasts about 20 minutes, we would have brought them up to a height of about 8,000 feet. And what that does is it drops the oxygen level down from about 19% O2 in this room, down to about 16, just below low to middle 15, so around that 8,000 foot mark. So we have this kind of 2-week training, kind of intensive camp for ourselves at the moment, and we're hoping to utilise this chamber here twice this week and twice next week, as well as utilising heat exposure over the next coming 2 weeks also, and the same interval of those. We will hope to alternate the days between training once at altitude and one exposure at heat for each of our training days over the coming weeks. It's a really challenging tour for us because we're having to land and hit the ground running straight away. So utilising some of this is like a precursor to that intensity. So what we're hoping to do is be ready, hit the ground and start training at the intensity that we need to play what is going to be a very, very tough challenge of the Bulls and the Lions down in South Africa.
We've been training with a bit of heat and a bit of altitude training on the bike, so it's been a different experience for most lads. Playing in the heat isn't too familiar when we're playing in Ireland in November and playing in the rain and wind, so it's a bit different, but it's a nice little challenge, and it's nice to change up things every once in a while, so look forward to it. Yeah, so basically what we've done for the gym sessions to try and acclimatise us for going down to South Africa is we've just pumped up the heat basically to 35 degrees and closed all doors and tried to trap the heat, so get a good sweat on. But yeah, basically it's just to try and you know, get us used to that temperature that we're going to be facing down in South Africa, and so that when we hit the ground it's not going to be a shock and we can kind of get on with our training prep and our match prep without the heat affecting us. It was different. It was definitely different. It was the first time doing anything kind of like that. Again, it was similar enough. It was sticky and it was very challenging in terms of, you know, you can push yourself on the bike here inside the gym at normal times, but having that little bit of an extra challenge with the altitude, I think it was up to 7,000 feet or something like that. So obviously playing in Loftus, one of the highest altitude stadiums in the world at 1,300 meters or whatever. So trying to get ourselves to that level so that when we play in Loftus, that it's nothing too unfamiliar and we can hit the ground running. After the first set, because I wasn't anything used to it, I definitely, in those 2 minutes of rest, I was blowing a lot, and I wasn't sure if I was going to make the next set. But no, it was nice. It was definitely a different challenge. That's the interesting thing, isn't it? That, you know, you're going down to face two teams that are high quality. So it's not just a challenge of going down and enjoying the trip. It's you know, as much as it's nice to go down to South Africa, it's also to go down there and get results, which is what we want to do. We want to come away with points. So that's what we're going to be focusing on in these 2 weeks of training and preparation, to get the squad in a good place, so that when we go down, all these, you know, little additions to training with the warm gym and altitude training, the bikes, they're to get us in the right place to perform and get a result, which is what we're hoping to do. And I mean, those South African teams are adding a new element to the competition, so we're looking forward to it as a group to go down and face that challenge.